Have you ever built something beautiful in your life? A relationship, a career, a healthy habit, only to feel a strange, perverse, and undeniable urge to smash it all to pieces? Have you ever found yourself on the brink of success, only to procrastinate, to make a foolish mistake, to say the one thing you know you shouldn't say, effectively snatching defeat from the jaws of victory? You watch yourself do it, as if you are a passenger in your own body, a horrified spectator to a car crash you yourself are causing. And afterwards, in the wreckage, you are left with a gnawing, shameful question that you dare not speak aloud. Why did I do that? You live in an age that worships happiness, that deifies logic, that preaches the gospel of optimization. You are bombarded with 1,000 life hacks, 1,000,000 productivity tips, an endless stream of advice on how to eat better, sleep better, work better, and be better. The world presents you with a blueprint for a perfect life, a gleaming, sterile, and perfectly rational cage called well-being. It tells you that if you simply follow the rules, if you act in your own rational self-interest, if you do what is logical and advantageous, you will be happy. The equation is simple: 2 + 2 = 4. Eat this, and you will be healthy. Work like this, and you will be successful. Love like this, and you will not be hurt. You have tried to live in this cage. You have tried to be the logical person, the sensible one. You have told yourself that you want what the world tells you to want: a stable job, a predictable relationship, a healthy body, a peaceful mind. You have tried to become a predictable functioning unit in the great logical machine of society. But if that is all you truly want, then why do you feel so suffocated? Why does a part of you scream in silent rebellion against the very happiness you claim to be pursuing? Why does the perfect logical answer of 2 + 2 = 4 feel not like a truth, but like an insult? Why do you sometimes feel an overwhelming desire to declare that 2 + 2 = 5 just to prove that you can? This inner conflict is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are human, and it is the most dangerous and profound secret of your own soul. The part of you that rebels, that sabotages, that chooses chaos over comfort, is not a flaw to be corrected. It is the very source of your freedom. Fyodor Dostoevsky, the great Russian novelist who plunged into the darkest depths of the human psyche, understood this terrifying paradox better than anyone. He saw that human beings are not rational creatures who simply seek happiness. He saw that we are creatures who, above all else, seek to assert our own free will, even if that will is capricious, destructive, and leads directly to our own suffering. In his masterpiece, Notes from Underground, he gave a voice to this rebellious part of our soul, and in doing so, he revealed a truth about our nature that our modern world has tried desperately to bury. He wrote, "What man wants is simply independent choice, whatever that independence may cost and wherever it may lead." This video is for you who feel like a civil war is raging within you, for you who are tired of fighting your own worst impulses, for you who secretly feel that a life of perfect, predictable happiness would be an unbearable prison. Today we will descend into the underground of your own soul. We will confront the demon of self-sabotage that lives within you, and we will not try to kill it. We will try to understand it. Because that demon, that spiteful, irrational voice of rebellion, holds the key to a freedom so absolute, it will change everything you thought you knew about yourself. Get ready to meet the part of you that you have been hiding from your entire life. Let us speak of this cage, this beautiful, logical, and soul-crushing cage that has been built for you. Dostoevsky called it the Crystal Palace. It is the ideal of a perfect utopian society, a world where science, reason, and logic have solved all of humanity's problems. There is no more suffering, no more chaos, no more uncertainty. Everything is provided for. Everyone is safe, comfortable, and content. Your every need is anticipated and met. Your life is planned, optimized, and guaranteed to be happy. It is a world where 2 + 2 always equals 4, and there is no room for any other answer. This is the heaven that our modern world is trying to build for you. A heaven of comfort, convenience, and absolute predictability. Your social media feed is an algorithm designed to show you only what you will like. Your career path is a ladder with predictable rungs of advancement. Your relationships are guided by therapeutic jargon that promises to eliminate all conflict and friction. Your health is a set of data points to be optimized. You are encouraged, at every turn, to eliminate risk, to avoid pain, to choose the sensible path, to become a smooth, functioning, and utterly predictable cog in the great machine. And you're bought into this vision. You tell yourself this is what you want. You diligently follow the advice. You eat the kale, you do the yoga, you practice the mindfulness, you optimize your workflow, you communicate with I feel statements. You are trying, with all your might, to become the perfectly rational citizen of the Crystal Palace. So why are you so profoundly bored? Why do you feel a creeping spiritual death in the midst of all this celebrated wellness? Why does the promise of a life without suffering feel not like a relief, but like a threat? It is because your soul does not want to be a cog. It does not want to be an algorithm. It does not want to live in a world where every outcome is predictable and every choice is preordained by logic. Dostoevsky's underground man looks at this perfect crystal palace, this utopia of happiness, and he wants to do only one thing, to stick his tongue out at it. He wants to smash it. He would rather retreat into his squalid, miserable underground hole, where he is free to be irrational, to be spiteful, to suffer on his own terms, than to live as a happy, contented slave in a perfect, logical paradise. You feel this too. You feel it when you get that promotion you worked so hard for, and all you feel is emptiness. You feel it when you are in a perfectly healthy relationship, and you feel the urge to start a fight for no reason. You feel it when you are looking at your perfectly balanced meal, and you feel a primal urge to eat something you know is bad for you. This is the voice of the underground man within you. It is the cry of your own individuality, your own free will, rebelling against the tyranny of a world that wants to turn you into a predictable formula. The world tells you that your suffering is a problem to be solved. But what if, as Dostoevsky suggests, your capacity to suffer freely is the only thing that proves you are not a machine? Before we can understand this freedom, we must look deeper into the eyes of the saboteur who lives within us. In the next part, we will confront the underground man himself. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Who is this saboteur, this inner traitor who seems dedicated to ruining your life? You see him as an enemy, a flaw, a bug in your programming that you need to fix. You try to suppress him, to ignore him, to reason with him. You go to therapy to try and exorcise him. You read self-help books to try and reprogram him. You believe that if you could just get rid of this self-destructive part of yourself, you could finally be happy, you could finally be successful, you could finally be at peace. You are engaged in a brutal civil war against a part of your own soul, and it is a war you can never, ever win. Think about it. The evidence is all around you. You spend weeks preparing for an important presentation, and then the night before, you stay up all night watching pointless videos, ensuring you will be exhausted and unfocused. You finally find a partner who is kind, loving, and stable, and you begin to meticulously search for their flaws, to create drama, to push them away, as if their calm presence is an intolerable offense. You set a goal to save money, and you find yourself making impulsive, extravagant purchases that you don't even really want. You are your own worst enemy. You build with one hand and you destroy with the other. This is the work of the underground man. He is the voice in your head that scoffs at your noble intentions. He is the impulse that revels in chaos. He is the part of you that is deeply, profoundly, and irrationally suspicious of happiness. He sees your plans for a stable, comfortable life, and he sees a prison. He sees your desire for peace, and he sees a form of death. To him, a predictable life is a life in which free will has been surrendered. He would rather be miserable but free than happy but programmed. Dostoevsky gave this man a voice, and what he says is terrifying. He says that he is sick, he is spiteful, he is an unattractive man, he takes pleasure in his own toothache. He refuses the help of doctors out of pure spite. He is intelligent enough to know what is good for him, but he will deliberately choose what is not, simply to prove to himself and to the world that he is not bound by the laws of advantage. He is not a piano key to be played upon by the forces of nature and society. He is a man, and a man, he argues, is a creature who has the right to desire something stupid, something irrational, something harmful, simply because he has the right to desire it. You have this man inside you. He is the source of your most shameful secrets and your most confusing actions. When you try to destroy him, you are trying to destroy your own capacity for freedom. You are trying to cut out the part of your soul that refuses to be tamed, that refuses to be categorized, that refuses to surrender its right to be chaotic, contradictory, and alive. Your self-sabotage is not a bug, it is a feature. It is a desperate, misguided, but powerful protest against a world that wants to make you predictable. But this protest is aimed at a formidable enemy, the unshakable wall of logic itself. In the next part, we will explore this great stone wall and why the underground man feels compelled to smash his head against it. What is this stone wall that the underground man rages against? It is the wall of facts, the wall of scientific laws, the wall of logic. It is the undeniable truth of 2 + 2 = 4. It is the wall that says, this is how the world works. These are the laws of nature. These are the consequences of your actions. You cannot argue with them. You must simply accept them. The world presents this wall to you as a source of comfort and security. It is the foundation of reason, the basis for a sensible life. But to the underground man, this wall is not a comfort, it is an outrage. It is a humiliation. It is a declaration that his own will, his own desires, his own individuality are ultimately meaningless in the face of cold, impersonal fact. The wall tells him that if he is sick, he should go to a doctor. If he is poor, he should work harder. If he is unhappy, he should change his behavior. It presents him with a series of logical solutions to his problems, and this very logic feels like a cage. He does not want to be a creature who can be so easily figured out, so easily solved. You have felt the chilling presence of this wall in your own life. It is the well-meaning friend who gives you perfectly logical advice that makes you want to scream. It is the self-help guru who presents you with a 5-step plan to happiness that feels like an insult to the complexity of your own pain. It is the voice of society that tells you that your feelings of despair or rebellion are irrational and therefore invalid. You are told that you should want to be healthy, that you should want to be successful, that you should be grateful for what you have, and every should feels like a stone being added to the wall that is boxing you in. The suffering that comes from this is immense. You feel ashamed of your own irrationality. You feel guilty for not wanting what you are supposed to want. You believe there is something fundamentally wrong with you, because the simple, logical equation of 2 + 2 = 4 does not bring you peace. You feel that your own unique, personal, and deeply felt suffering is being dismissed as a mere mathematical error that can be easily corrected. And so, like the underground man, you develop a profound and spiteful desire to defy the wall. You cannot destroy it, of course. 2 + 2 will always equal 4. But you can refuse to submit to it. You can refuse to accept its authority over your soul. And so, in a fit of spiteful freedom, you smash your head against it. You make the irrational choice. You choose the path that you know will cause you pain. You do it not because you are stupid, but as a desperate, tragic, and powerful protest. You are screaming to the universe, I may be bound by your laws, but you do not own my will. I would rather suffer and be free than be happy and be a slave to your logic. This act of defiance, Dostoevsky argues, is the source of our humanity. But what could possibly be the advantage of such a self-destructive act? In the next part, we will discover Dostoevsky's most advantageous advantage. What is truly good for a person? What is our greatest advantage? The world gives you a simple answer. Advantage is health, it is wealth, it is comfort, security, and pleasure. It is a life free from pain and struggle. This is the gospel of rational egoism. To live a good life, you must simply calculate what will bring you the most advantage, the most profit, and act accordingly. It is a simple, logical, and deeply inhuman philosophy. Imagine for a moment a life lived entirely on this principle, a life of pure calculation, a life where every decision is made based on a cold, rational assessment of its potential benefits. In such a life, there would be no room for sacrifice, for it is not advantageous. There would be no room for great passion, for passion is chaotic and risky. There would be no room for art, for beauty, for love that is not transactional, because these things cannot be easily entered into a ledger of profit and loss. A person who lived this way would not be a human being. They would be a walking calculator, an automaton, a piano key, as Dostoevsky called it, played upon by the deterministic fingers of cause and effect. The underground man sees this future, and it fills him with absolute horror. He understands on a primal level that to live this way would be to surrender the very thing that makes him a man, his will. is freedom to be capricious, to be irrational, to choose against his own best interests. And so, he proposes a different kind of advantage, an advantage that is so advantageous it outweighs all the others. Dostoevsky writes, through his character, that there is one most advantageous advantage for which a man will throw everything else away, and that advantage is one's own free and unfettered volition, one's own caprice, however wild it may be. It is the right to prove to yourself, at every moment, that you are a man and not a piano key. This is a revolutionary and terrifying idea. It suggests that your self-sabotaging behavior, your irrational choices, your secret rebellion against your own happiness, these are not failures. They are the expressions of your deepest and most fundamental need, the need to feel free. You choose suffering over a happiness that feels imposed. You choose chaos over a peace that feels like a cage. You would rather be the author of your own tragedy than a supporting character in someone else's comedy. This most advantageous advantage is what allows you to feel alive. It is the source of all great art, all great love, all great sacrifice. It is the chaotic, unpredictable, and divine spark of humanity that refuses to be extinguished by the cold, grey logic of the Crystal Palace. The problem is not that you have this impulse. The problem is that you do not understand it, and so it manifests as blind, destructive self-sabotage. But what if you could embrace this impulse? What if you could integrate this wild, rebellious freedom into your life consciously rather than unconsciously? This is the final challenge Dostoevsky presents to us, the challenge to live a living life. In our final part, we will explore what this means. We have descended into the underground and confronted the spiteful, rebellious spirit that lives there. We have understood that his rebellion is not against happiness itself, but against a happiness that is forced, logical, and inhuman. We have understood that his self-sabotage is a misguided cry for freedom. So where does that leave us? Are we doomed to a life of either sterile, predictable misery or chaotic, self-destructive suffering? Dostoevsky points to a third path. He calls it the living life, živaya жизнь. The living life is the opposite of the dead, theoretical life of the Crystal Palace. It is a life that embraces chaos, contradiction, and uncertainty. It is a life that values faith over certainty, love over logic, and freedom over comfort. To live a living life is to accept the underground man within you, not as an enemy to be conquered, but as a vital part of your own soul. It is to give his thirst for freedom a conscious and creative outlet, instead of allowing it to fester in the darkness and erupt as blind destruction. But choosing this path is terrifying. It is the path of the artist, the lover, the saint, the adventurer. It is the path of anyone who has ever chosen to do something difficult and uncertain out of a deep inner conviction, against all logical advice. It means stepping off the well-trodden road of societal expectations and into the dark, uncharted forest of your own being. It means accepting that there are no easy answers, no simple formulas for how to live. It means embracing the possibility of pain, of failure, of heartbreak, as essential parts of a life that is truly lived. The world will tell you that you are a fool. It will tempt you with the safety and comfort of the Crystal Palace. It will try to lure you back into the cage with promises of security and predictability. Your own fear will scream at you to choose the sensible path. The loneliness of this journey can be immense because you will be speaking a language that very few people around you will understand. They will be busy optimizing their lives, and you will be busy living yours. To live a living life means to stop trying to solve the problem of your own existence as if it were a math equation. It means you must learn to live with tension, with paradox, with the glorious and terrifying contradictions of your own nature. It means you must find the courage to act not from a place of cold calculation, but from a place of passionate conviction. It means trading the dead certainty of 2 + 2 = 4 for the living, breathing, and often painful reality of your own freedom. This is the ultimate challenge. It is the integration of the underground with the world of light. It is about becoming a person who is both intelligent enough to understand the laws of nature and free enough to defy them in the name of a higher, more human truth. It is to find meaning not in the absence of suffering, but in the freedom to choose your own response to it. Now, look at your life. Look at your compromises, your fears, your quiet acts of self-betrayal in the name of safety and logic. Are you ready to stop living a theoretical life? Are you ready to answer the call of the underground man, not with destruction but with creation? Are you ready to choose the terrifying, chaotic, and beautiful uncertainty of a life that is truly alive? Comment below, I choose the living life. This is not just a comment, it is a vow. A commitment to honor the entirety of your soul, including its darkest and most rebellious corners. It is the first step out of the Crystal Palace and into the real world, and your journey is just beginning. The next video is essential. It will explore the practical ways you can begin to integrate this rebellious energy, to turn your self-sabotage into a creative force. You must keep going. The escape from the underground is the most important journey you will ever take. See you there.